So when a big move is made, why do our thoughts and emotions go toward all the things that could go wrong instead of all the good things that will come out of making the big moves and the big changes? You know, that's really, really amazing, because you're basically doing what I like to call jumping off a cliff and building your parachute on the way down. Most people don't take risks or do things that are hard because not only are they afraid of the outcome, but they don't have certainty, and we always think of the worst case scenario. And that's common. And maybe for a second think that way, but then let yourself flow into what all the good things are going to happen when you make these big, bold moves. Focus on and think about all the things that will go right, not what might go wrong, and hold the vision. It's time to pull away from all of the noise. And this is what my higher self dropped in really hard for me this week. The rabbit holes, the conspiracy theories, all of it. All of them are distractions. Stop feeding them attention. I think we can notice, but don't feed it. Notice what's happening, but do not feed it. Do not give it your attention. And honestly, if you really look at what's happening, one side or the other gets amplified. And it doesn't matter what side you fall on. You know, to me, it's like, I don't consider myself part of any political party. I consider myself a human who likes to look at all the things and have common sense and come from a place of love. And, you know, people might think, well, you have to get involved politically because that's how we make changes. Well, I would beg to differ. At this point of where we find ourselves, if you are highly left or highly right or even somewhere in the middle, it's good to pay attention. Notice, but don't feed it. Notice what's happening, make the right decisions. And then we need to build things that can't be copied. That just kind of dropped in. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then we need to amplify the signal. This is how humanity wins. I don't think it's a doomsday scenario that's happening. I think the energy is freaking wonky. We all know that, we all feel it. And it's easy to dive into what's the worst that can happen, right? So instead, let's swap our mantra to what's the best that can happen. We need to lead ourselves, our family, our friends, the people that we influence. We need to lead ourselves and them to the exits. Where's the exit out of something? You know, and for me, it's health. You know, to me, I do my best to lead people out of the health and the medical system trap. That's disconnecting. That's one of the most powerful things I feel like we can do. Is if we want to opt out of the game, we need to stop playing the game. Stop playing the right or left game. Stop playing the game. And I think one of the most powerful things you can do is to opt out of the medical system. You know, there's a lot of good people in there. I'm not discounting that. I have a sister who's a nurse. You know, I have many good friends and people in the medical industry. But your rebellion is your health. And you always hear that saying, that people spend all of their health gathering wealth, and then they spend all of their wealth trying to get their health back. Your health is your most gold, is where you hold the most gold, is your health, because it will take you all the way through life without buying into all the systems and the fear, and oh my goodness, it's crazy. We need to stop feeding the narratives, because there's narratives on either side. I've done all this stuff. I've gone down so many rabbit holes, and I find that now when I catch myself starting to go down a rabbit hole, I go, wait a minute, what's happening here? Things are not what they seem. We know that we are being lied to on all fronts, from everywhere. And when we give our attention to these rabbit holes and we think, okay, that feels true, this conspiracy theory feels true, and they all might be true. But the best thing you can do is take your energy away, remove it, stop feeding the narratives. We need to align with beauty, truth, and connection. We need to align with beauty. Look at what's beautiful. Focus on that. Create something beautiful. Tune into your own truth. What is your truth? That is so critically important right now. And this is where it might get kind of hard because we're so used to getting caught and sucked into other people's truths. You need to tune into yourself and your own truth. And then connection.